Evening, it's that time again where we have a short thought for the day. And I want to ask the question, have you ever felt like giving up? When things just seem too difficult, one thing after another seems to be set against you. And you think, you know what, what's the point? Let's just pack it in and try something else, do something else. There's a great verse in 2 Chronicles chapter 15, verse 7, where God speaks to Asa, the king of Judah. When things for him weren't difficult, he was trying to turn things around and everything seemed to be really hard work. And God said to Asa these words, "But as for you, be strong. Don't give up, for your work will be rewarded. It will come to pass." I've been reading the past few days a book that I bought for Caroline, of course, not long after we got married, so it's kind of an old book and it's kind of falling apart. And it's called Growing Strong in the Seasons of Life by Chuck Swindoll. And I was reading this the other day. It's called The Dark Side of Greatness. And there's a little epitaph at the top that says, "There lies the most perfect ruler of men the world has ever seen, and now he belongs to the ages." Any idea who that was written about? One of the Caesars? Napoleon? Alexander the Great? Eisenhower? Patton? Churchill? How about some great religious figure? Calvin or Luther or John Knox or Booth or Wesley or Spurgeon? Again, none of these. Obviously, this person was a great leader and very highly thought of. But as we go through, you'll see things weren't always easy for him. When he was 7 years old, he was forced out of his home because of a legal technicality, and he had to work to support his family. At the age of 9, while still a backward, shy little boy, his mother died. At 22, he lost his job as a store clerk. He wanted to go to law school, but his education just wasn't good enough. At 23, he went into debt to become a partner in a small store. 3 years later, his business partner died, leaving him a huge debt that it took years to repay. At 28, after developing a romantic relationship with a young lady for 4 years, he asked her to marry him. She said no. An earlier love interest he shared with a lovely girl also ended in heartache when she suddenly died. At 37, on his third try, he was finally elected to the United States Congress. 2 years later, he ran again and failed to be re-elected. And it was round about that time that he had a nervous breakdown. At 41, adding to additional heartache to an already unhappy marriage, his 4-year-old son died. At 45, he ran for the Senate and lost. 2 years later, he was defeated for the nomination for the vice president. At 49, he ran for the Senate again, he lost. Add to all this endless criticism, misunderstanding, ugly and false rumours, deep periods of depression, and you realise it's no wonder he was rejected by his peers, despised by multitudes, hardly the envy of his day. However, at 51, he was elected President of the United States, but his second term in office was cut short by an assassin's bullet. As he lay dying in a little room across from the theatre where he was shot, his former fiercest critic, Edwin Stanton, spoke the tribute I mentioned earlier on. Of course, we're speaking about Abraham Lincoln, one of the greatest presidents America has ever produced. You see, we often look at the glamour, the glitz, the fame, the headlines, all the stuff that, wow, wouldn't it be great? But you think of that man's history, just tragedy and heartache and disappointment and failure upon failure. But he kept going. He didn't give up. He believed he had purpose in his life. He believed he was sent here on this earth to do something of significance. And no matter how many hardships or setbacks came his way, and it wasn't easy, he had a breakdown, he suffered depression, but he didn't give up. And eventually he turned the tide of history in that nation and throughout the world. So I want to encourage you as God encouraged King Asa. Be strong, be courageous, don't give up, keep going and see what God will do. God bless you. Have a good evening.